There's absolutely no evidence to believe that African people were better after interacting with enslavers, after interacting with the European colonists. There's no evidence of that. So I don't know where we'd be without slavery, but I'm certainly sure it's better than where we would otherwise be.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing great wherever you are. And in case you're coming across this channel for the first time, you're also highly welcome. So in our channel, we share information and knowledge about Black people. We try to empower the Black culture and Africa at large. Black people, be they in Africa, in the continent, in the diaspora, that is in Europe, in Asia, in the Americas, the Caribbeans, and wherever the Black people are across the entire globe. Now, in today's video, I have with me here a video that I'm going to share with you. And this video, for any Black person, I believe is either going to leave you angry, shocked, annoyed, or something. So without taking much of your time, let's first watch this video together, and at the end of the video we're going to try and analyze what is being said in the video. So let's jump right in.
But this is a country that has historically whitewashed slavery. This is a country that consistently pretends that bad things did not happen. A textbook spending time focusing on the fact that some people got some skills out of it. To me, it's time we could spend talking about the need for reparations. It's time we could spend talking about the lingering impact of slavery. It's time we could spend talking about the people who entered slavery with skills and who were actually selected for their skill sets on the continent of Africa. We can talk about all that stuff in a finite amount of time rather than talking about a few people who were blacksmiths who were able to get jobs, when in fact there's so many laws and programs stop people from getting access to jobs, to freedom, to justice, to food, clothing, shelter, equality, all that stuff, even after so-called emancipation.
Excellent job, Mark. And the Black conservative says...
Yeah, well, Mark, look, I still believe you teach the good, the bad, and the ugly. You teach all of it. And so I do have to ask you, without slavery in this country, which, again, you had blacks purchasing blacks, you had blacks selling blacks, you had Native Americans purchasing blacks, you had blacks purchasing Native Americans. It goes on and on and on. And I think that conversation around reparations does get very complicated. And I know that there are a lot of people that advocate for that. But beyond that, I have to ask you,
what's complicated about it?
Where would you be today without slavery?
That's a great question. That's what we call one of those counterfactual hypotheticals, right? It's hard for me to tell you where I'd be without slavery because our entire history was interrupted by it. Black people, or African people more importantly, had empires. We had civilizations. We had governments. We had order. We had laws. The question, where would we be without slavery, would imply or suggest to people that somehow we have benefited from the enterprise of slavery, or that somehow in the aftermath of slavery we're better off than we otherwise would have been. And there's absolutely no evidence to believe that African people were better after interacting with enslavers, after interacting with the European colonists. There's no evidence of that. So I don't know where we'd be without slavery, but I'm certainly sure it's better than where we would otherwise be.
Yeah, see, and I would counter that personally with what we see on the continent of Africa today. I mean, honestly, you talked about some people having, some of the kingdoms and being on the hierarchy in Africa and different countries in Africa, and sure, but those weren't the people that were being sold into slavery. See, so it's like it's so hard to understand.
But Kim, where in Africa? I want you to be a little more specific. Where in Africa can we point to and see any kind of problem, any kind of disruption that hasn't been touched or interrupted by Europe?
You're kidding, right? Okay, so my family is from both.
Name a country that hasn't been. You're saying Nigeria and Cameroon haven't been affected by Europe? That's your argument?
There's many countries in Africa that did not have Europeans colonize it, and they're still down today. Look at the Congo, for one thing. We don't talk enough about the Congo and what they're dealing with, especially when it comes to China and everybody that is going into their country to extract cobalt and lithium and all these things that we want here in America to make us feel good with electric vehicles. So if we want to go down that road, we can go down that road, okay? But at the same time, not every country was invaded by Europeans that then put colonization on their culture and their people. That what did not happen everywhere. We can look back onto the continent of Africa today, and we can say that there are a lot of places where people are leaving, seeking refuge to come here in America, because this is the land of opportunity.
You're familiar with Zaire, right? The country?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Do you know what that's called now?
What is it called now?
Yeah, Congo. So the country you're saying wasn't affected by Europe, or it was affected by Europe because it was colonized. And
You have the
only now being called Congo
Republic
again.
of the Congo.
You also, right? My point is, Congo was colonized. When you talk about Cameroon, there's a reason why they speak French. It's not because they really love the language. It's because they were colonized.
I'm not even upset. I'm not upset. I'm not upset at Marc for allowing her the platform to spew this nonsense. I'm not upset at her or her team for allowing her to say that. I'm upset at the whole system because am I not worth a more intelligent adversary? This is crazy.
Wow. Wow. Now, in this video, the two characters in that video is Marc Lamont Hill, who is an American, Black American academic, and the lady, I don't know so much about the lady, but her name is Kimberly, and I know she's a Black American businesswoman and also, I think, a politician. But well, that is not the point of the video. So the point of this video is, I know that maybe just like me, that video has either left you frustrated at her, amused at what, you know, at what she's talking about, or even surprised, or if not angry. So in this video, let's just go down the rat hole. I know that as a Black people, our history was so much interfered with. Most part of our history, and especially for Black people outside of the continent of Africa, have been so much cut off from their history. But it's not to so much an extent that someone that is willing to find out the truth is not going to. I mean, we can find the truth, but if we dare to, if we are willing to, we have to go, a step further to seek information, to seek about our history, to know who we are as Black people, to know how we got to be where we are today. And in fact, we need to know our history if we have to change the status quo. Clearly, she does not know our history, or that is what her sentiments say about her. She is either negligent of who we are as a Black people. She's Black. She is ignorant or something. Oh, it's crazy. You see, there are a few reasons why a Black person would behave in such a manner that to portray as if they don't know anything about their own history. So when Black people want to stay close to power structures, I mean, amongst ourselves as Black people, we have to accept that we have sellouts, we have betrayers, we betray ourselves. We have one and two people amongst us, if not many, in fact, who betray the cause to set the Black people free. And this is how we behave when we want to stay close to the white power structure. We portray sycophancy, and we become as lickers, and we just try, we become puppets, and we deny ourselves. That is what I think she's trying to do. She's so ignorant about her own history as a Black person that she has no idea about Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, that is the same country that back in the days was called the Zaire, and that it is in that same country that King Leopold of Belgium took hostage the entire country, annihilated, unalived over 10 million Africans, even went a step ahead to declare Congo as his personal property, and that is he's going to do anything he wants with the entire country. She has no idea that as we talk today, as this video is taking place, the Democratic Republic of Congo, we call it Congo Kinshasa, is, if not amongst the richest countries in terms of natural resources in the world. But the turmoil in that country being brought about by our enemies invading our land and forcefully stealing the natural resources, lithium, cobalt, copper, gold, wood and timber. The Democratic Republic of Congo is so blessed with natural resources that you hardly can miss a single. She has no idea that today, as we talk, the Democratic Republic of Congo is bleeding profusely. The people are crying uncontrollably because of the war, a lack of peace, because left, right, and center, our enemies, our opponents, our adversaries are looting, and for them to loot, they have to try and make sure there is no stability. She has no idea about who Patrice Lumumba of the Democratic Republic of Congo is, and where he is today, and how he met his death in the hands of the oppressors and the imperialists, and that is why she is behaving like she is behaving. I think as Black people, we need to swallow ignorance. We need to swallow the pride and learn about our history. And to learn about our history is we have to go deep down the rat hole to find the information. The mainstream media, I have always said, is a proxy of the enemy. And it's constructed in such a way that is not going to give you the true picture of who we are and what is happening in Africa. Let's find our history if we have to change anything. Look, for years and years, decades, if not millenniums, the enemy, the imperialist, has used that one tactic of divide and rule on us for so long. There is no way we as Black culture, wherever we are, be it in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, in whichever other Caribbean island, be it in America or in South America, in Europe, in Asia, and even in the continent of Africa, we cannot afford to let that same tactic that has been used on us successfully for years be used on us again. We have to unite. We have to call out these vices. We have to educate our own people. We have to spread the true gospel. And when I say the true gospel, I mean who we are, our own history. We have to rewrite every single page of history. Tell the world, tell ourselves, tell the generations of Black people to come who we are, where we have come from, how we got to where we are, and change the narrative. the misleading narrative, the propaganda. And the only way to do this, we must not tire of doing the same thing. You see, for for us to have bought the propaganda like Kimberly has done, to think that colonization has helped us, while we know that before colonialism, Africa was thriving in all sectors. But for us to have bought the propaganda narrative that colonialism helps Africa, then it is the lie that has been told to us over and over and over again. And the only way to counter this is now to tell, we have to counter with the truth over and over. And it doesn't matter how many times we're going to spend telling the same story. But however many times, for that to sink deep down our conscience as a Black people. But we cannot be in the dark this much anymore. If she's ignorant, she needs to wake up from her sleep. If she is negligent, then someone needs to teach her something. If she's just a betrayer who wants to stay close to the white power structures, then we need, as the Black people who she belongs to, need to know her as a betrayer. Because there is no way as Black people we are going to buy into narratives that tell contrary to the truth of our history. And we must know history, because history will help us forge forward. So that is what I have had for you today. Please share this video and share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video. If you are coming across this channel for the first time, please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Until next time, I see you in the next video. Peace.